how you touch my head. Makes me wanna run back home to my bed. Try to stay calm, but my palms are wet. I need another drink, need a break from my sun. Everybody wants to say that it's only a dream. Yeah, everybody wants to say that it's nothing for me. Everybody wants to say that it's only a dream. Yeah, everybody wants to say that it's nothing for me.
I see something, it's coming up on the horizon. Oh, let me clear my head and get rid of the distractions. Oh, I was done, I was down when I saw you in the clouds. Out of phase, filled with doubt. I was drifting in and out, levitate, fade away. I had left full time space, but you just caught my eye. Hey, nah, 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 nah. Please won't you come over? Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah, 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 nah. Delve into emotion, leave us in this moment. Let your mind be free. Stop holding back, 'cause you can fight it. Oh, I don't know your name, but something in me has ignited. Oh, I was done, I was down when I saw you in the clouds. Out of phase, filled with doubt. I was drifting in and out, levitate, fade away. I had left full time space, but you just caught my eye. Hey, nah, 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 nah. Please won't you come over? Let me get to know ya. Hey, nah, 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 nah. Delve into emotion, leave us in this moment.
Don't you say it, I can't hear it. I get defensive when I think you're calling me out. But I don't scream, I don't shout. I seethe in my anger, I swallow my answers. I try to listen, but it's all bubbling out. Can you hear me now? What are we doing?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tech Condo. Appreciate you for taking your time here on the Saturday evening. It is 7 p.m. Central European Time, so right on the money. Though I have to admit that it was a little bit of an awkward start of today. Might have consequences of bringing my laptop towards the IBC last week and just putting it back into commission here in the studio. Well, I actually went live earlier today. You didn't see that. Don't worry about that. But it actually went very well until just now. For some reason, I kind of go and stream to Facebook, so I have to figure out what's going on. Maybe Facebook has changed the API, and but YouTube seems to be working quite well. And then the audio turned out to be not working, but I think that is also working. So at least I do see me coming into the show. So it looks to be all very well. Hey guys, welcome to this nice Saturday evening. It is it's a little bit colder outside. About what is it again? 15 degrees Celsius, and actually a little bit glad that the temperature is going a little bit like this, even though it's still 10 degrees more here in the studio. But that's the way it goes here in the condo. So today we're going to do a IBC recap where I will be talking a little bit about the products that I've seen that I'm interested in. Not all of the products that I will be talking about are new, but these are actually products that I'm actually quite interested in, thinking about, maybe purchasing myself, or at least some that I've seen that maybe I don't want to purchase myself, but maybe is something for you. Well, there we go. I actually was at IBC the whole time. I actually was working for vMix, so that meant that on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I was at the booth. I did see a few people of you coming by. Of course, I'm not going to say any names, but thank you so much for being at the booth. Really appreciate it. Always good to see people that are like-minded, and it was also really cool to see also people that actually I don't know and are not that active as on the channel, but are watching the videos. So please go ahead, if you're one of them, just say hi and let's try to join the conversation, because I really love to know you a little bit better. It's always quite awkward to have somebody coming up to you. Hey, I know you're from YouTube. What? Of course, I know that I'm on YouTube, but it's still, I don't consider myself like a star or something. But sometimes people act like that. So yes, let's talk about IBC, and I totally agree. IBC 2023 was great. It was very nice to see everybody back. I also saw quite a big increase of people that were joining. I think 16% more than last year. So still a little bit lower than pre-pandemic, but getting to a very good place. So I'm very happy with that. Friday till Sunday was really jam-packed. Didn't have any time. And on Monday, we got some breathing room. So, let's expect. So it was really cool to see some new things. You might have also seen some other people that you are aware of. I've seen, for example, Funny Joseph. I've seen Aaron Paraki. I've seen John Barker. So there's a lot of YouTubers, fellow YouTubers, and also people that are part of the community were there, which is, of course, always really cool. MT was a class. But it seems to be quite difficult to come there. At least that is my German, quick German translation there for you guys. I see Phil is also in the house, all the way from Finland. I appreciate you for taking your time here as well. Let me see who is also in the house. I also see Eric. Welcome, Eric. Appreciate you for taking the time. And also my dad, who is actually cat sitting Scooter at the moment. As you might have known, Scooter is a active cat. Let's say it that way. So it's better to have him not here when I'm having a show. Though Kermit is actually right in front of my foot, so I know where he is, and then he's really enjoying a little bit of us time, if I may call it that. He is really appreciative of that. Indeed, and hello to Scooter, and he's a member of the Verbruggen family, and absolutely he is. Thank you also for that. Though I'm not 100% in agreement with my dad here, because I actually think that both are part of the family. And indeed, I do appreciate my dad for helping out and for me to focus. Oh, here you go. My dad says, just kidding. We both... Oh, I just flipped to the other page. Let me go back. Just kidding. We are both... we both take care of both cats at Petroscondo. Get them separated just to assure the influence of the session. Indeed. Hey, Raoul. Welcome. Appreciate you for being here as well on your Saturday morning. Let me see who's next. Niels is in the house. Excellent. Welcome, Niels. And Stuart is also in the house. Hey, Petra, he says. And DJ Ware, I also see here. And you guys are all talking to each other, which is fantastic. Vlad, hello. Are we getting a new events for Activator in VMix 27? Not in the build that I've seen. Let's just say it that way. I have been looking around a little bit in my spare time, even though that was not a lot, and I could not see anything different there. So I very much think that that's not the case. Please be aware that if you are part of a VMix crew, you cannot really say everything. But in this case, I can say that way. It is literally not the case, but I cannot say everything. But I can talk about the 5 features that I've seen during, and I've also talked about during IBC 2023. So I would love to hear from you guys. What is actually the one that you were most proud of? What was the one that you were like, oh, this is a fantastic new feature? Please let me know in the comments so that we can talk about that later. Of course, I will be talking about VMix. Come on, I've got a VMix t-shirt on, so I need to talk about VMix. But let's talk about other things first. So I did create some videos at the different booths at IBC, but I decided not to show them. Basically because there's a lot of back noise. There's a lot of I could not always see everything, so I've decided to just go via the websites of the different vendors to talk about what I've seen, what I like about it, or what I don't like about it, so that you are aware of it. So I actually have my PC in front of me with a few tabs, and the one that what I want to start with is let me be careful. So let's go here. All right. One that I want to start with is, I'm a Burdock fan, so let's talk about Burdock first. So here you go. So Burdock actually did a quite some updates to their cloud support, which allows you to remotely control and remotely produce a full-on show by everything remotely via the cloud. And actually, I have to admit that is really a fantastic way of doing things. I think that we are too small, and I'm looking at my end of the game, to really use Burdock Cloud the way that it's supposed to be. But I can imagine that for local TV stations, this is a fantastic feature that they might have some interest for. The Silicon 2 update has been around for quite some time. Actually, it was already announced in at NAB earlier this year, and it's unfortunately not released yet. I have been talking to them. I know that they have a lot of firmware that is really close to being released. That's what they said to me, and I actually trust them for that, because I was talking to the CEO of Burdock, and he was really clear to me. Say, hey Petra, we know that it has been quite some time, but we have decided to recreate some parts of the firmware because we want to have a more robust foundation, which allows us to actually increase the amount of the product portfolio moving forward. So that's a little bit the reason why it's so slow. But I, for one, am very hyped about the Silicon 2 update. Let me explain. SRT connection, I mean, that is for me a killer feature right there. And RTSP is also a little bit of a feature that I am interested in, but that is mostly related to my PTZ controller that actually does not have an NDI video output, but it does have an RTSP video output, so I can actually then finally see what I'm switching, and so I have a little bit more confidence of what I can do. Moving on, not so much news on the camera side of things. Well, this one, still one that I'm very interested in. Not so much for myself. I'm actually, I have 3 cameras. I have three Burdock cameras. I don't need more of that. But the X120, for people that are just starting, really interesting Wi-Fi system. So you can actually have a NDI HX signal over Wi-Fi. So you don't need to spend a lot of time of creating all kinds of cable dressing and that kind of stuff. That's all not needed. Just plain Wi-Fi will do quite nicely. The NDI PTC control is not new, really, to be honest. I have been using it already for 2 gigs. Works like a charm. Definitely something to take into account. It also works, by the way, with non-Burdock cameras, but with a lesser amount of control. And then you've got the Fleet Manager, and actually that is a very interesting software package, if I may say. And the reason why I'm saying that is that it also automatically sets up the update of the products that I own, and it makes life a little bit easier, so to speak. And those are really the ones that I'm mostly interested in from a Burdock perspective. Again, quick reminder, I am still also going to talk about vMix. So if you want to tell me what you like best, let me know so that I can talk about that a little bit more than I just did. I do see already one, so I'm putting that one in the queue. I'm gonna add flat as well, even though that was not a part of the discussion. Oh yeah, the Burdock V2. Yeah, so there's a new version of the Burdock Play, though when I wanted to check it out, believe it or not, it was already removed from the booth. So I don't know what happened there. I didn't do it for sure. But that play button the play product was totally gone. It was a little bit of an awkward thing. That was a day later, I think, when you came in empty. So I was checking it out and I was like, hey, it's gone. All right, cool. So next up is actually, I want to talk a little bit about 2 cameras that are of interest. Again, honestly, I am already taken with most of the cameras. There will be a camera later in this video that I'm actually really interested in, so I keep an eye out for that one. But these are actually cameras that might be of interest for you. That's the reason why I'm actually pointing it out to you. So OpsBot, has created the tail PTZ camera. It's a 4K PTZ camera. Really, really, really small. We got it at the vMix booth. We have been playing around with it. Actually, good quality camera. You can perform PTZ operations with vMix with this product, though not yet fully. There are still some issues with, let's say, mirrored images, etc. So that needs to be ironed out before you can actually really use it in vMix. But regardless, this is a fantastic little device. Runs with NDI, runs with a USB interface, so you can just run this on a laptop, which is always really, really interesting, especially if it's a PTZ camera. I actually really like this, and at the moment they are doing this via a Kickstarter program. So if I would add that here, you will see that it will cost you, let me check, $450. That's roughly the early bird standard kit that you can check. It does again have an NDI license, so it actually quite it looks really, really promising. So yeah, just reading what it stated here, but I think that was a fantastic little camera, which actually was quite well. Another, and I'm moving a little bit fast, but I will slow down in just a minute. Another really cool camera is actually that Canon has a new entry-level PTZ camera. I love my Bird Dog cameras. Don't get me wrong; they're perfect, really for what I do. And the Canon actually arguably are better cameras, but they're also more expensive. But with the introduction of the new PTZ camera that they have, they're actually quite close to Bird Dog and PTZ optics, and that is the CN100 PTZ. So these are smaller censored systems. They are roughly at the same price as Bird Dog, as PTZ optics. And I do think that with 20 times zoom and a 4K sensor, you actually have a very nice bang for your buck system. So I would definitely check them out if you do not own a PTZ camera at the moment and you are in the process of maybe purchasing one. Again, why do you need PTZ cameras? Are they better than handheld cameras? Absolutely not. They're not. But if you are looking into making a multi-camera production with less people, then it makes it very, very easy to say yes, we need to do that. Typically, in a big production, you have like 5 people at the very minimum. And with PTZ cameras, you can cut that down with 2 and maybe even 1. Even though I would state that if you're doing it all by yourself, then it will hurt the production a little bit. So I still will always ask somebody to assist, even though it's just pick and choose between 5 people or 2 people. If you look at the productions that I do typically. All right, so that was a very fast walkthrough. Let's make it a little bit more slow down, and let's see what we can talk about. The MT says the Ops bot tail air is awesome and great conversation starter. Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic little thing. And indeed, you have NDI license with that as well. So it was actually quite a very nice product. Again, wait a little bit before you buy, especially if you're using vMix. It does not work at the moment fully. So please be careful with making that choice. MT says, at work we got two AVR VER 330 VCPTC tracking cameras to play with. Very smooth following. Nice. Well, I'm actually very interested in learning more about those, MT, so I will definitely check that out. Let me see. All right. Of course, I will be talking about Black Magic. You know me, and also about Phoenix. But one thing that I've not talked about yet in this show, which I'm also very well. Actually, there are two things. I actually forgot one. Ooh, that's not good. Let me grab a website very quickly, because I do need to talk about that. If they have it, no, they don't have it on the website, it seems, but that's okay. I'll just talk about that. All right, next up is more about controls and integration of different components, so to speak. And of course, you know me, I am a sucker for Scarroy, so I am showing you the what they call blue pill. This product right here. The Blue Pill server is actually a small little device. It's really small. It's, I would state, well, it's the width of, I mean, like 4 HDMI cables side by side or something like that. It's not big at all. Oh yeah, here you can see the more comparison. So it's really a small little device, but don't make that fool you, because actually what it does is that it's a full-on server that actually runs a program called Reactor, and with that Reactor, it's actually a very powerful way of connecting several applications. Now, granted, we have central control. Yes, we have also BitFocus Companion. So there are multiple ways of doing these things. But what I really like about that Scarhoy part is that it's really, I would state, really easy. And I also have a video out there, so please go ahead and watch that video of Scarhoy, because with the Blue Pill, you now control surfaces, but also Stream Decks, X keys, Microsoft gaming controllers, Akai and MIDI controllers, iPads, you name it, you can do it with that Blue Pill server, and that is really something that I'm very interested in. Why? Because one simple thing. So with the PTZ cameras of Burdock that I have, if I run it via vMix, I get the tally light. So when I am live, I will get a red tally light. When I'm on preview, I will have a green tally light. And if I'm not, I will not get a light, which is great. That's exactly what I want. But with the ATEM switcher, I cannot get that tally light information there. And so this is where the Blue Pill comes into play, that it actually also sends that signal via NDI to the camera so that it actually shows the correct control. And that's the reason why I'm very, very interested in it. I am at the moment in discussions with Scarroy to obtain a Blue Pill server. Maybe not at the full price, I hope. To see if I can also show it to you guys in one of the future TechCono shows. Definitely one that I'm looking forward to work with. To move on, and unfortunately I don't have the picture here, but Central Control was also there, and Central Control actually created a new product called Central Control Core. And basically what that is that Central Control Core is a stripped down version of Central Control, but it's running on a single board PC. And that is really interesting because then you can also integrate it in panels, for example. And that's exactly what they showcased at the X-Keys booth at IBC, was a panel that actually ran all the controls for the 8-temp switcher, in this case the extreme ISO, but also with super source animations, recording sessions, etc., etc. But all from the controller itself. So the PC signal board was built into the controller itself, and that was really, really, really interesting. And I've also been talking to Joey to say, hey, can we hook up? Can we try to get things done so that I can also talk about it in the future Taekwondo? I'm expecting that I can do that. So give me a few months maybe. But it looks very promising, and definitely want to get to really pay attention to, because I think that this has the potential to be huge. So that is the central control core, and something that I am very, very interested in. Hey, Joey is in the house. Yep. Correct, I did say that. I need to. It is, the show is for more than one kind of people, Joey. But again, like I said, I really think that we need to take that into account. I think it's you've got something really cool there, my friend. This is going to be awesome. I know that. All right, so that was of course, I also have a video on Central Control IO as well. So on Central Control Core, I mean, is also on the YouTube. So please go ahead and check that out as well. I can run it at the moment, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to rerun what you already could have seen. So go ahead after the fact. Go to check the YouTube channel. Let me show you where it is. Let's do that. That's very important. So let's go ahead and show my channel. Right, like this. Boom. So of course we're now doing this, the discussion of IBC. This is all of the live shows that we have, but if you go down, we now have also a conferences playlist, and there you'll find the top 5 vMix features that we have discussed during IBC. We also have the X keys powered by Central Control Core. Definitely check that one out. That's really, really, really interesting. And then we've got also the Skaroy, who's also about everything about controls. So definitely something to check out. All right. So that leaves us with 2 final things that I want to talk about. And that is really about about vMix maybe. Let's start with vMix. Again, the 5 features of vMix for the release 27 are not 2 but 4 external outputs. I'm really happy with that. I don't know about you, but that's a big game changer. Having the ability to really be more flexible on the output side is really, really, really important. So I'm very, very happy that they've done that. Though, please be aware that you do need to have a little bit of a beefy system to make that happen. Next to that, we have more fine-grained controls of layers. So you're now able to really fill in X and Y coordinates. You have like guide rails so that you can snap a little bit into place. If you have, for example, 2 boxes side by side. Finally, I would say. Then they've got AV1 support as well. So, which means that now we have actually 3 possibilities. The old H.264, which is already also 26 to stream to YouTube, Facebook, whatever. H.265 has been added, but also AV1, and I can tell you, looking at the Funtime live show of last week, definitely better than what we had prior. Then we have the Stream Deck Plus integration. Finally, the possibility to change things with the rotary knobs and also the touchscreen. Already a lot of use cases came to mind, like maybe some small color correction, cropping a box a little bit differently. For example, if people do like this across the picture, that might be of interest for you. Volume control might also be of concern as well. And then, of course, we've got Zoom integration as well. And again, look at that video of vMix. I did it, I think, a good job of explaining to you, but there are a few things that I didn't really talk about during that video, mostly because I forgot, and in one or two cases actually because I didn't know. We came to notice something which was really cool. So I would like to show you a little bit around what you see if you want to hook up a Zoom call with vMix. Please imagine that we already set up a Zoom call input on vMix. And then I will, wait a second, I have to add NDI support here. NDI capture, start broadcasting. Okay. There you go. And then let's add my input. And like so, and right. All right. So once you have connected once you have created the Zoom input, you then can call the room. And for example, if I would set up a meeting room on my phone, this is what I would have to look at. Test, which is the name of the computer, can also be vMix 27. Enter the waiting room, and then you can then say I want to view it or I want to admit it. If you want to admit it, then you will get this screen. Test is requesting to record this meeting. Now, that is a very interesting question, actually, because we're not really necessarily recording or streaming it. It's more about that Zoom, as a company, requests vMix to create that pop-up for you, because you are indeed capturing the signal and using it outside of Zoom. So I think that is the logic behind it, and I think that is correct. But I think that the question is a little bit misleading. But at least that this is something that you will get to see if your vMix instance is actually trying to connect with that. Then this meeting is recorded, and then it asks, do you know it? Are you in agreement with it? And then basically they're done. So that is what it looks like if you are connecting to vMix. Now, once that is done, honestly, I have to tell you that it's really the same as vMix call. You have the same functionality. You can have multiple people connected via an input. As a matter of fact, I have an extremely short video, I think. Yeah, here it is, where I can actually show you. Let me try to make it a little bit. There you go. All right. So if you look here, you'll see this is where you can select the participant, and if you want to use the video of the participant or the share of the participant, and the share is then of course the desktop share. that that you will need in some cases. Next to that, and I also mentioned that already in the video, is that you also have the possibility with vMix Social to have, excuse me, Zoom comments coming in. Really powerful, in my opinion. And on the next screen, you will see that Paul Richards, yes, that is the one from PTZ Optics, actually tested it out at our booth. And here you can actually see that the comments were came in to vMix Social, and then therefore you can also just put it on the screen. What is additionally of interest is that not only that, but you can also use it as part of the data source functionality within vMix. So also there you can see all of the comments coming past, and you can use it, for example, for adding it to lower thirds, adding it to headline news, or whatever you want to do. But these are all functionalities that you have with that Zoom integration. And I regret not saying it during my video, but yeah, some of that information was actually not communicated with me at the moment of discussing it with you, but at the later stage we actually to be honest, even I don't know if it was Tim or Heath, but they also didn't know about it. So it's getting very fast. It's very fast in development at the moment, and I really hope that vMix 27 will be released soon. Now, I know that one of the questions will be, when is vMix 27 going to be released? And the honest answer to that question is that we do not know. That sounds a little bit awkward because, hey, your vMix, you can just release it whenever you want, right? Well, typically that is the case. However, that is not the case in this particular instance because of that Zoom integration. And with the Zoom integration, they have to go through an approval process. We don't know how long that takes. So that is one thing that is holding a release back. Next to that, we did see some bugs throughout the week, so there are still some bugs that needs to be squashed, so to speak, but it's looking very promising. So yeah, I cannot say anything about it, but what I can say is a little bit looking back at the last 5 years. I know that typically, I'm not, please don't hold it against me, it takes about 2 months before a beta is released after IBC at the very minimum, and at least again 2-3 months before the real version comes into play. So I'm not expecting 27 to be released before January, February next year, honestly. So, but that's me talking, that's not vMix talking, that is just my, educated guess. Let's go like that. All right, let me see if there are some comments or questions that we want to talk about. Neil says, more options for control, the better. I 100% agree with that statement. Jerry says, I got a demo of the Blue Pill from the man himself, and it's seriously impressive how many devices it could run on one unit. I totally agree with that. Casper Skaroy, who is the founder of the company, also was talking about it to myself as well. And it looks really nice, and I'm again looking forward to getting my hands on it and to play around with it as well, and hopefully see how I can integrate it. But that doesn't mean that I'm not interested in the central control core, because I do think that I want to back that one up a little bit more than that. Eric says, Reactor 2.0, watching the run-up to the release, it's amazing how much work went into being able to talk to all the parameters. Absolutely agree with that, Eric. It is a really good piece of software, and I did see it 2-3 years ago when it was in active development, and I do recall having a demo at the IBC that not everything worked out as planned. But this time around, it actually went very smooth, and it looked really good, or good enough for the most people. So I am looking forward to really giving it a spin. And again, my use case is literally about the tele lights, to control that in a way without the need of having a separate computer to do that. Let me see. There's about something about T-bar. Did it involve a T-bar? Oh, M2 says I got some inspirations at X-Keys. Yeah, indeed. Did it involve a T-bar? Yeah. Okay. And Neil says the T-bar doesn't work for me at all. Okay. So, yeah, let's talk about X-Keys. I didn't really prepare that part, but so as you might know, I'm also an X-Keys. I think I have something about control. I need to do something about it. Please, one thing that I have a question for you all. Let's figure out a nice slogan with control in it, because I think that I have a problem with controls. I've got X-Keys controls. I've got Stream Decks. I've got the advanced panel. Scargoy devices. I need control. You know, something. I'm awkward like that. Anyway, yes. So let's talk about X-Keys. X-Keys last year released a small. Hope that I can get it. Released this little thing right here. It's a very small replay unit, as I've been using it, and it is a very nice product. I like it for the ease of use of it. It's extremely simple to create a quick summary of what happened. Though it's not the replay unit that I have here. So if you want to have really something where you can create a package, then you need the big boy. That being said, they now have a new little X-Keys with a joystick. A jog shuttle on it, and that joy shuttle one is actually arguably better than the one that I have. I think that you are using that search shuttle more often than the T-bar. So that's my take on it. So check that out at X-Keys, because that is a very interesting product if you are interested in a, let's say, minimalistic replay functionality. Let's call it like that. And going back to the Zoom integration, yes, Zoom has come to, Zoom comments integration too. Very, very interesting. Sharif says, do you need any additional hardware to connect vMix to Zoom in the new integration? No, you do not need new hardware. You can just run it on your desktop or laptop that you have. And unfortunately, I do not know how much Zoom calls you can have open at the same time, but be aware that I would not expect more than 8. But that's me talking. Just a gut feeling. Also looking at, for example, vMix calls, etc., is also limited to 8. So I'm expecting that that's roughly the same. So that's where that comes from. Talking about hardware, AV1 support is only available on NVIDIA cards 4000 series and up. So if you have a 3060, for example, which I have in my laptop that I have here, I'm out of luck. I cannot use the AV1 support, which I don't need at the moment, but definitely something to look forward to in the future if I need to replace it. For what was it again? For the Stream Deck integration, you need the Stream Deck Plus, of course, but no difference there. Oh yeah, and for the outputs, the additional external outputs, you do need to have more CPU and GPU power. So that's what you need. Eric says the XKeys job shuttle sounds cool. It is. Let me see if I didn't forget any questions or remarks. I don't think so. Let me very quickly check. No, I think that I have everything. Okay, all right, so let's talk about the last but not the least, which is, of course, Blackmagic design. So Blackmagic actually did us a big favor, in my opinion, and that is the introduction of SRT. Maybe not the way that we would have liked it, honestly, but let's talk about it anyway. So let's talk about SRT and where you can find it. So can you find SRT in an ATEM mini series or ATEM SDS series? The answer to that question is unfortunately no. I have just tried it out today, and I can confirm that there is no way to stream at the moment directly from an ATEM in SRT. So that's a bit of a bummer, because that would be very, 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 very cool, but that's not the case. There are, however, two different components that actually are able to work with SRT. Look how I say it. Work with SRT, and there's going to be a video on it as soon as possible, because I think that this is really something that we need to pay attention to. The one that is actually able to run SRT or actually create an SRT stream, that is the web presenter. So these two web presenters, the web presenter HD, which I own, and the web presenter 4K, which I do not own, both of them are able to also now run SRT. But that's not all. It also incorporates H.265 only on the 4K. So the 4K can handle RTMP, H.264, H.265, and SRT, while the web presenter HD can also run SRT. And this is literally really running SRT. Though if you are only using the UI of the application, there's only one choice, and that is SRT via YouTube, or towards YouTube, I have to say, which you need to be part of a beta. I am not, but luckily what you can do is, under the hood, create an XML file and then change the protocol from, for example, RTMP to SRT, and going through a certain location, and then run that there. I will create a video on that part, definitely. I need a little bit more time than this weekend, so I am expecting that maybe next week there will be, so not coming week but the week after, there will be a video on SRT and how you can use the web presenter to connect to, for example, vMix. That would be really cool, right? If that is possible. Well, that's the first thing. There's another thing, and that is you can also use SRT with the streaming bridge, the ATEM streaming bridge. Though it cannot transmit SRT, or well, let me rephrase it a little bit. I have not seen, but I will be trying it out. I believe that it's not possible to act as a listener to caller to SRT, but it only can listens to it or something like that. So I will have to check that out. But the streaming bridge can run with SRT. The web presenter can definitely run with SRT, but the A10 minis unfortunately cannot. Can you imagine if that would be possible? That would be like, for me, extremely huge and making my life very, very easy. But unfortunately, that is not the case yet. Raul says I need to research the SRT. I have no idea what it is. Well, I will be discussing that very quickly, Raul. There is a taekwondo video out there that is actually doing quite well. And I actually had people coming to the booth and also thanking me for that video. So let me find that quickly and put the URL in the... there it is. So if you would like... let me go back to here. And there you go. So if you would check this one, then you will be able to see my video on SRT. And I think that you would very much appreciate that as a first step towards understanding SRT. Raul. Yeah, yeah. So that's where I'm literally trying it out together with vMix, and it's actually working quite well. But it's of course doing it a little bit differently. And this time around, I want to use the web presenter and the streaming bridge to show what the possibilities are. And that is a video that I will be making within the next 2 weeks. Let's call it like that, because I do want to check things out before I make that video. Yeah, the return fee to the stream bridge sounds very promising. Yeah, it definitely is, and I actually because of that I got my streaming bridge back in use. It's actually now not far from here. It is not switched on because I have put it literally on the internet without too much firewalls in between, because I don't care. But yeah, I do want to try it out and use it together with the web presenter to see how things go. So that's something that I will be looking into, and hopefully not next week, but a week after, you will see a video drop on that. Going back to Blackmagic, so we did talk about SRT. I think it's huge. I think it's one of the huge news update. Another one that might be of interest is related to the routing and distribution part, actually, because now they have also added the 80x80 video hub. A little bit above my pay grade, to be honest, and also not needed in my opinion. But this product, of course, if you look at the tech specs, it has a plethora of inputs and outputs, 80 to be exact on the input and output side. And that would be like a game changer for a lot of huge products, that huge production like OB vents, that kind of stuff. That's really powerful. There were also some new cameras that have been discussed, so let's go in there as well. honestly, a few of them are not of interest for me, so let's start with those. For example, the new 4K now also has SDI, which is fantastic. However, it still has a micro four thirds lens, which personally I don't like. And the same thing goes also for the micro studio camera. Really nice concept. Love this concept. It's not big at all. It has a battery. It's actually, I would state, a perfect camera, but it has a micro four thirds lens, and therefore I am not interested, unfortunately. What I am interested in, and not for this year, but definitely something to think about, is that I already was very much interested in the 6K Pro version, the cinema camera, but they also now have added the cinema camera 6K, which is not a pocket camera but a full frame camera. And this one, the full frame is right here. This one is actually the one that, well, there is a chance that I will be purchasing this one in about a year or so from now. Want to wait a little bit longer, especially with cameras and Blackmagic, to make sure that all of the issues are removed. But also, I want to I also want to make sure that I am actually really continuing the creation of short form videos, and maybe also some color grading, and only then, and after quite some time, I will definitely be interested in that camera. It is a really nice full frame camera. What can I say? Extremely beautiful anamorphic possibilities that you have. The bokeh effect is really beautiful. So I would state that this is brilliant. It does come with an L mount, but L mounts can be very easily modified to EF, which is the lenses that I already own. I used to have a Canon 5D Mark III, so I can reuse my lenses from that one right there. And here you see how beautiful this is what they've showed us in their video, and I think that this is a fantastic camera on paper, maybe, but let's just see what they come up with. Then he also had some advanced panels, new ones, but basically they are just a additional version of what is already existing. So I don't know if it's really new, but it's cool nevertheless. Yeah. Frankie says, looking forward to the SRT video. Yeah, thank you, Frankie, for joining the conversation. And yes, there will be a new version or a new video out there. Not next week, but the week after, I believe. That's my go-to. I actually wanted to try it out earlier, but think it's wise to take a little bit more time to make sure that I have ironed out all of the aspects before I jump to the gun. Festidi Ruben, 8M streaming bridge received in H.265 SRT. Do not know yet. I need to check. I will check. That's part of the video. I will check that. And to say I can test it a lack of the streaming bridge. Yeah, you know, luckily I own one, so I will be checking it out, and I will be updating you as quickly as I can. Let me see if I have everything out there. Yeah, and another video that I'm thinking about is to create a video on the difference between SRT and LRT, because those are not the same. So that might be also a good video to create as a separate part, and then have like a Q&A live show around those two videos. I think that would be a very good way of doing it. Checking if there's any other questions that I've forgotten. Oh, Neil says, if I remember correctly, you can now set the server in the web presenter software without editing any XML. Not entirely correct. You do have more pre-built configurations. So apart from Facebook, YouTube, you now also have a YouTube RTMP and YouTube SRT beta. You also have, for example, Microsoft Teams as a separate entity. On top of my head, Vimeo as well. But at least there are like, on top of my head, like 10 or so different pre-configured items. But if you want to change the protocol from, for example, RTMP to SRT, you cannot do that in the software itself. You do need to do that in the XML file. So that I'm already sure of. But yeah, that also there I will also add a example of an SRT stream in that video so that you guys can just copy and paste it and just use it if you want to use it. Eric says, did LiveView have any announcements at IBC? Yes, they did, but not on hardware level. They actually, I would state that they only had software-based changes, all oriented to remote productions and, let's say, signal orchestration. Let's call it that way. But no new hardware, which was a bit of a disappointment, maybe. Actually, honestly, I was considering to talk about that earlier today, and I think that's yes, IBC 2023 was really, really cool, and I really believe, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. But to really say that IBC 2023 had shocking new products, I would state no. This time around, it was more of an evolution, not so much revolution. SRT is still evolution in my opinion, even though you can argue from a Blackmagic's perspective it's quite a revolution. But for others, I would state it was more of an evolution this time and not so much a revolution. Is that something to worry about? No, not at all. I think it's great that sometimes that happens, and it's also it's sometimes that needs to happen because there are things in the pressure cooker that are big. For example, in 2019, the A10 Mini came out, which was mind-boggling. That was unheard of at that particular time. Now it's coming good, but 5 years ago it was totally a revolution, and I'm expecting that every 5 years a revolution will take place. So let's see what happens next year. I will be there next year as well. Not sure if I'm at the vMix booth yet, but I would love to, right? So hopefully. Indeed. Well, it happens, and next year is maybe a revolution, and let's see what NAB has to offer next year as well. Could it be that the new developments was set back by the C thing? Yes, I think that is correct. I think that is one reason. And I would not think that it's really because of not having ideas. It's more about supply chain issues, I would state, because of that C thing. I think that is the main reason why things are not going as fast as we would like to see it. I think it's more about supply changes, supply chain issues, that kind of stuff. we'll see it. Yeah, you see it across the board at the moment. So I would not be surprised that's also the reason. And with black magic, I am really sure that that's the underlying issue. For example, the 2110 thing that they announced in NEB or last year, still not shipping. It's just barely going to ship next week or so. So, you know, so things are happening, but at a lower pace. All right. I think that this is all the time that we have for this show. Next week I will be back, of course, with a live show. It's going to be more of a Q&A show, as I already said a couple of weeks ago. So I have a ATEM/DaVinci Resolve desk right there. I've got a vMix desk right here. So please ask your questions. We'll try to do it live during Q&As, and I will also that starts as of next week to create those videos that I've promised you as well. At the start, it will be 2 videos roughly a month, just to get things started. Don't be mad if it's going to be 1 video, just because of getting used to it. But I will try to up the game a little bit the coming period, and hopefully it becomes a new norm, and we have a new way of working. I really hope to do that. I am looking forward to it. As a matter of fact, please go ahead and check the top 5 features of vMix. I'm actually quite proud of it. Almost 2,000 views already. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not done it yet on YouTube. Also, please hit the like button because that helps the engine, the analytical engine, to hopefully show my content more often. Also, go ahead and look at those 3 videos that I've just posted for IBC. Also like them, check them out. It's really cool. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next week, same time, same channel. And I, for now, am going to go to my dad to get my cat back because I'm missing him. See you around. Bye bye.